So, I really want to get into the conversation of healing. Now, I've just read the Bible, I'm in Mark, and this is nowhere by means preaching, but I think some people get confused about the art of healing. How do we heal from pain? Now, sadly, my childhood's bad, and I've kind of not celebrated that story, but I've made that story known here across social media, and I've done numerous videos across different social media platforms. And it's important for me to get that out because I feel better knowing that I share my story to help others and inspire people to know that you can heal after pain and trauma. However, healing comes in different sizes, shapes, opinions, articles. All right, there is so much that we need to understand about healing, and every person's journey is different. I'm looking at a book that I'm going to start to analyze and start to do more audio videos for this new rebranded YouTube channel called Healthy Secrets, following on from my success from my TikTok channel. Breaking the habit of being yourself, which I'll go into in another episode. But today, I want to focus on healing, and maybe we're only 2 weeks into 2024, literally the 16th of January. And maybe you're literally somebody that's going through something right now, and you feel like you need to heal from that pain. Maybe it's a relationship breakup, maybe you've lost your job. There's so many different things, right, that we need to heal from. Healing from life, because life is difficult. And I think, to be honest with you, some of the people, my friends, family, and just people that I've met recently, when I talk to people and I say that same phrase, life is difficult, it seems to hit home really real these days. I know the stress and mental health new pandemic is through the roof and people are suffering really bad because the data is telling me that more and more people are choosing to end their life, which is sad. And I'm on a global mission to lower global suicide by 20 or 30% by 2030. And I set that out. I know it's ambitious, but at the end of the day, if you make an ambitious goal, that's good, right? And I think that's going to help me heal from my own pain because I want to do good and give good to the world. But I know that sometimes when you're on your hands and your knees and you feel like, you know what, I just got no one to talk to, or you've got too many people to talk to, and you can't find the time to actually sit down and pick up a phone. I spoke to a friend today, and he won't mind me mentioning this, but he rang me up and I missed his call. I rang him back. He never rings me in the morning. And I rang him up and I said, Steve, are you all right? And then he went, I went into detail about what he was going on. And it felt good that knowing that he could open up finally. And we do talk in detail, me and my friend, about our mental health, both of us, and we're men. And we know that us men are not the best at sharing our feelings. We're getting better. I can see that. And if you're one of those guys, why don't you just contact me here via some of my channels down below in the comments, and let's do an interview together to make this new podcast celebrate across different social media channels slightly better so that we can help people, can save lives. I know there's so many different podcasts out there on mental health, but to be honest with you, I'd rather go for authenticity. I'm the man who's been through it. I live with a rare condition called non-epileptic attack disorder, and it is difficult. I had 2 seizures last year, literally. Um, you could ask me a question saying, Steve, how have you're going through something, you live with a long-term mental health condition, which it is. It's very close to PTSD. How have you healed from your childhood? You live with a condition, you have seizures now and again, but how do you feel you're healing because you're still having seizures? The thing is, do we ever really, really heal? That's one question. I know that God will take away my pain, but ultimately the memories are still in my brain. You can't move away from that. Yeah, the people that hit me as a young child and the abuse I received, including sexual, by the way, that will never go from my brain. Now, I have been to counselling and I've had loads of counselling over the years. It's really helped me, and that's why I'm retraining that as a counsellor. It takes time, though, sadly. So sincerely, I'm the guy who wants to save the world, but I know that I've learned the hard way that excuse me, that's not always possible. And I think it's important that we recognise that let's just start one step at a time, focus on what you can do. And in terms of healing, take rest. Go to your appointments, because whatever stuff you're going through and it's bad, you feel it's bad, it's trauma to your head, as in it's anxiety through the roof, you can't cope, you can't eat, sleep, you can't do anything, or you don't want to, which is more leading towards depression. It's important for you to just take one day at a time. I know we've heard this so many times, and I said it to my friend today, I'll be honest with you, but the science is it does work. We have to break things down. We have to go slow and easy when it comes to healing from pain and active pain, something that's happening in our life at the moment. Now, healing is a big word. It doesn't mean that healing. Oh, I'm healed. I'm good inside. I'm beautiful. It doesn't work that way, right? It's more to the fact is right. Let me put myself in a better position. I think probably that's a better phrase to use than healing, because healing is so much associated with religious and spiritual connections that I don't think that we've got a really good standpoint in terms of where it fits in our society today. As much as today I've read an article on my LinkedIn profile called Toxic Resilience, and it's a word that I haven't really come across, and I researched it today on Google Scholar. There isn't really, from what I can see at a quick shot, a lot of research on it. And a problem with the word with toxic, and even healing, to be honest with you, toxic more so, is that when something's toxic, you think, oh, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. But the science is that some bad news is good for us, because we need the bad news to go through the dark times, so we can learn through life and then go into the next phase of our age or the next era, if that makes sense. Yeah, you're stressed as a 16 or a 15-year-old doing your GCSE exams, but that's good, because you need some level of stress. Otherwise, you wouldn't be worried about them. You wouldn't revise. So the human brain needs some level of stress. And we can't always heal actively in the moment, because we're dealing with so much in our brains. And that is why it's so important, I think, for us to all try to get to good habits of slowing our thoughts down. And there's something new that I'm sticking to at the moment. Like last night, I felt a little bit kind of not weird, but not down. I was like happy, but I wanted to take my time off of social media. So I laid on my bed for like literally 15 minutes. And I got a pack of tissues out and I started to balance it on my head. I was just like what we call in the military monging out. Boredom. I wasn't bored, but I know, because my emotional intelligence is so high, I don't mind saying that, by the way, that I can put myself in a state of boredom, which lowers my stress and anxiety and helps me push towards healing. So I will encourage everybody to lean into healing more by spending more time with your thought processes. What does that mean? Go back to boredom. Sit on a beach. Sit on a park bench somewhere. Do something. Yeah, that's what we need to do. And I think the more we do that, and there's loads of articles on this. I'll write a boredom article soon, maybe. Born, yeah, being a better leader through being bored. Not a bad, makes it quite a good book title. Let me know in the comments. But anyway, I think that to heal really in trueness, we look at healing in a different way, because we think that we've been through so much, we now need to heal. But active healing is combating the stress in that moment. So what I would say as an unofficial mental health expert is, unofficial means that I don't have a doctorate or I don't have a specialist qualification yet, I might add, in mental health. I'm retraining at the moment. We need to say to ourselves, you know what, I am going through some stuff at the moment. I'm not Superman or Superwoman. Let me slow things down. Let me get back to reality. Let me say to myself, you know what? You can cope. And we have to say that to our conscious self in order for us to recognize, you know what? Yeah, I do feel a bit tired and my anxiety's up. Not getting on with my partner. I'm not eating well. Look at the symptoms. You know, there's so much on the internet, but actively, we're still living in a society where stress is through the roof, and yet there's so much good sound advice out there. We're not taking it in because we're not retraining our brain, we're not renewing the mind. And I think, you know, some of the wisdom of listening to audio, what you're doing right now, and doing something else, it will stick in your head. If you're listening to me right now and you're walking, you're running, you're even trying to get to sleep through my voice, that's amazing, by the way. That's therapeutic to your own head, and that will allow you to come up with later on solutions to help your situation. Healing takes time, and a good friend of mine always says time is a good healer. And all the trauma that I've been in life, from my racist abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse when I was younger, it took so many years for me to process it all. And yes, sadly, through going through all of that, I did develop this condition called non-epileptic attack disorder, which there isn't really a lot of research on it. And it's only from my own independent research and living an independent thought leadership that means I'm just sharing my knowledge and trying to create a better pathway for me and others. I've been able to manage the condition to a relative level, because sometimes you can't block out stress, right? Our brains are not designed for that. But because the world and the media and they've got two wars in Europe, because we've got so much coming towards us, it's almost like we've got to, you know, pick up our shields. You know, going back to the, you know, shields and swords. You know, we've got to fight on the one hand. Again, we're sort of going into fight or flight response, but we all need these protective shields now, because we've got so much coming towards us. We don't know whether we're coming or going, so we've got to like duck and dive, and it's just like, I don't like using the word crazy, but I'll use it in this instance. You know, it's crazy. These times are crazy. You know, why do we want to hurt each other? Why does Putin want to invade Ukraine? Why did he? Power, land, influence. You know, greed is a vicious cycle, and it's because of greed and many other things that there is so much healing to do in this world. So I could go on for hours on this conversation, but I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're busy, and I want you to relax and just mellow out and rewind this and go back, because there's a lot in this first episode of this new rebranded podcast going out on to YouTube, my TikTok channel, and yeah, many other platforms coming soon. But anyway, you have yourself some nice and peace, and I pray that you find a way to heal in your own heart and your head by developing your own learning curriculum that better understands who you are in life, what you're good at, which I talk about a lot across my social channels. So bringing you something that's a little bit more authentic than other podcasts, which is just, I live in the moment, I live in the real world of having a condition, of looking and studying people in real time and giving it to you real here on the new Healthy Secrets podcast. But anyway, I shall bid you good day, good night, farewell, good afternoon, and take some rest, friend. You need it. Cheers.